Like that. I see. So we got all this out the way. Okay.
Todd, in terms of your defense, you've got a lot of players hitting free agency, but where can your defense grow and get better in 2023 based upon what you guys were able to accomplish last year?
I don't think we have the turnovers that we had in the past. We got to get better from a turnover standpoint. We can get a lot better in red zone defense. Obviously, getting better, revitalizing, stopping the run. I thought his tackling got better from when he first came in. I thought he filled in a great void, playing safety, being multiple at different positions for us. And then he got nicked up a little bit and kind of played the rest of the season banged up. But I thought he was a warrior for us, and he fought.
Todd, if I were to tell you back in training camp that by the end of last year, Vita Vea would be leading your team in sacks with only 6.5, would you have thought about it?
I wouldn't have believed you. This is the first 3-4 team I've been a part of where the outside linebackers have not led the team in sacks. We got to get better in that area, I think. No disrespect to Vita. I'm glad he did. And we had some good interior rushes with Vita and Nacho, Hicks and Will and all those guys. But, we got to, when Shaq went down, it was kind of a letdown. I thought Nelson did some good things as well as Joe. But from an experience standpoint and just getting back there consistently, I think we got to get better there. Well, he's up there high. He's up there high as well. There's a few guys that's up there as high, but you can't play them all. So that's the reality of the business part. But Dean had a very good season. I thought Dean had a very good year, especially the first half before he got injured. But he's a guy that's going to be commanding some attention.
Todd, what are some of the specific sort of philosophical changes you want to see offensively made from your defensive hires?
Well, obviously, it's going to be offensive continuity as a whole. Losing a guy like Tom Brady, you have to revamp your offense some, and we have a new guy coming in with a new system. I think the chemistry is going to be very important in the offseason, bringing those guys together and understanding what we're trying to do. And that'll be the biggest and most important thing right now coming into the offseason with a new coordinator.
Todd, Antoine's such a talented player and important to the defense and what you're trying to do with the defense. You talk about him stepping up as a leader this season. Is there anything else that you want to see from him as a player? Like, where does he get better? He's already at a pretty high level.
Well, since he was so young, he gets better mentally every year. His tackling is outstanding. His intensity is outstanding. What he does for the team is outstanding. I think he's one of our top 3 defensive players. He can only get better with experience. I don't want to move him around as much this coming year than I have this year. Try to leave him at one spot as best I can, and I think he'll master that spot and get even better for us.
Todd, when you look at this year's draft, especially on the defensive side, what position groups are strong and which ones are weak, just generally speaking?
I'm not sure because I'm just getting into it. We had some time off during the off season, and I'm hiring coaches, so I'm not sure which ones are strong or weak. I know there's some cornerbacks coming out in the first. The tight ends have a strong class. I have to really look at everybody else. No, it doesn't, but we're going to be smart about it. We understand we were over the cap coming into this. We have a plan, and we have a long-term plan that we're going to go by. We don't want to sacrifice 1 year for paying someone as opposed to sacrificing the future, but we'll go out and we'll be smart about it. And if the guy has a long-term plan or can hang out and play with us, we'll take a look at it. It's also a desirable place because we do have talent around him, and people may want to come and do 1-year prove-it deals. So we'll see what happens in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll go down forward. But we have a plan of what we want to do.
Todd, you have a second round pick invested in Kyle Trask, but you really haven't seen team because of the lack of opportunities he's had. To see, you know, you have something there. Does that preclude you from drafting a quarterback in this year's draft, even in round one, because you have a guy that you've already invested a pick in that you don't know if he can play or not?
Doesn't preclude you from anything. It's going to be competition at every spot. That's going to be every year. As long as we've been a coach, that's going to be competition. But we'll look at everybody. We'll try to take the best players available. We'll see who can help us, who can try to help us. But Kyle will compete. He's the only one on the roster right now. He works hard. He works at it in the off season, and we'll see what he can do. I think everybody's coming into it with a clean slate, with a new coordinator, so everybody will be learning at the same time.
Philosophically, EA always like to go into these off seasons, into camp, knowing who the quarterback, the starting quarterback was going to be. In your time as a coach, how often have you been in this situation where you have, potentially two guys or even three guys competing for that starting job, not having that clear cut starter? Because a clear cut starter is something you want to have.
Well, I've been here once before. It all depends on who we sign. It all depends on who we sign. We'll see, and we'll kind of go from there. But again, it's a new system. Everybody's going to have a chance to compete. Whether we label them 1, 2, and 3, that may not be the way they start the season. So it's a different time for us. We understand we lost the greatest of all time, but whoever we bring in here will have a chance to compete. Kyle will have a chance to compete, and we'll see where that goes.
Coach, how would you evaluate Devin White this year and just his growth over the last year?
Devin takes a lot of heat for some of the things everybody charges as missed tackle, but he makes tackles that I haven't seen linebackers make in 30 years. He can make plays for us. He's still one of our best 2 players on defense. Have a lot of faith in him. His growth mentally, understanding the system, it's not an easy system, has been outstanding. I think the world of the guy. I think he's a heck of a ball player, and I think this will probably be one of his better seasons. Obviously, intelligence number one. You don't want to lose the game, so you got to be smart, which everybody else does. Intelligence, arm strength, how well you know your system, and how well you can manage the game and get rid of the game. Know when to take shots. You got to have a lot of heart. Obviously, there's going to be a time of the game where you got to make some plays. You're not going to be just immune to everything, but you try to make sure the guy is very intelligent and understands what's happening around him.
Todd, when you look at Shaq Barrett coming off of an Achilles injury at age 30, I know you need some other pass rushers just because you've got some free agents like Anthony Nelson, Carl Nassib, et cetera. But does that injury with Shaq's age, does that kind of concern you that when he gets back this year, it might take him another year to kind of get back to where he was roughly?
Well, 30 doesn't seem bad. Tom played till he was 45, so it's not a bad thing being 30. But we'll see how he comes back. He's where he needs to be right now. We'll see going forward. It doesn't have a bearing on what we will do or won't do. You can't have enough pass rushers regardless of who it is. But hopefully Shaq makes it back, and we'll see what happens.
What do you like in Todd Bowles for making the quarterbacks coach? Who's the quarterback that hasn't played?
Well, he was a heck of a college quarterback. Understood the game coming in. When Bruce hired him, as an intern, very bright guy in the office early, out late. He has a great understanding of quarterback play, and he has a lot of modern day technique and scheme that he can help and fit a quarterback. I think he's very quarterback friendly. I think the world of that. I think he'll be an offensive coordinator in light years from now, and I think it's a good move for him, and I'm excited to see it.
Coach, you mentioned Devin White being a top 2 defensive player on the team. Who's the other guy?
It fluctuates week by week. I don't want to say who it is. It could be anywhere from Vita to Levante to Shaq. It fluctuates.
And Tom Moore, the decision to bring him back, what was that?
Ever since Tom has been here, we've been very close. He's been a great help to me in the red zone as far as understanding offenses and little things to do on the field, even helping me be a better coordinator and helping me be a better head coach. He's invaluable, as far as I'm concerned. Having him back on the staff was a big plus.
Todd, a lot of people think that you guys are in a rebuild. Where the NFC South is and where you are, do you look at it as a rebuild or no?
I don't look at it that way. You know, when you lose Tom Brady, everybody's going to look at it differently, as well they should because he was a great player. But we have to play better team ball all the way around. One guy should not define us as far as how we win this year. I don't think bringing in one guy or losing one guy should help us go downward. We should be able to play team football, and if we play the right way, we'll win the same amount of games.
When he comes out of the season, a few times you mentioned culture. You spoke to Jason earlier. You mentioned the word culture as well. How do you guys keep some of the things that Tom brought and some of those things you did before? How do you keep that culture where it needs to be so that you guys can prosper?
Well, the biggest thing he brought is a winning culture. Obviously, we have a winning culture. We can have different cultures and still win. Tom's not here anymore. A lot of the vets that we had aren't here anymore, so we have to create another culture with Canales and his offensive scheme as well as blending with the defense. So there'll be a new culture and chemistry created every year, no matter whether we have stayed the same or not. But we can create our own culture here, winning, and that comes with working together, working hard, and understanding what we have to do to win.
You talked about Canales earlier and the adjustments. Was that one of the most important things you were looking for in this interview process with potential offensive coordinators or an area that you wanted to get better in year over year?
No, it's you look at everything as a coordinator. You know how he schemes, what he thinks, how he responds, what pieces he thinks he needs, what he can work with, what he can't work with. You look at the overall group and you look at the guys you have and seeing if he can work with those guys and see if his scheme fits. And I thought it was the best scheme fit for everything that we had coming back this far.
Todd, you know the importance of the running game. You try to stop it first every week. What does a better running game do to help the Buccaneers in 2023, especially if you have a young quarterback like Kyle Trask making this first start if he wins the game?
A running game always helps. Don't get me wrong, but if they pile everybody up there and make you throw, you got to beat them through the air. You got to hurt them no matter what. At the end of the day, you want to score more points than they score. There's no such thing as balance. You know, hopefully you have some balance at some point in the year in one way or the other. But the biggest thing is to outscore the opponent.
How would you assess the season of shot Sorry. No, go ahead, Matt. I'd absolutely.
Sure. All right, then. What's your outlook on K-Dot and the season that he had? Can he be a tight end one day?
He can be. I mean, he showed some things this year. For a rookie, he played very well. You didn't know he was a rookie. He plays very smart. He plays very tough. He's a heady ball player. He's only going to get stronger and better, and I'm excited to see him.
You thought Sean Murphy on the way he played this year and then bounced from starter to be reserved, played outside inside?
Well, when he got hurt early in the year, you know, it gave Dean a chance to play. And when he came back, Dean was playing great. But then Dean got hurt. I thought Sean came in and he had a heck of a second half of the season. I thought he played man well. He played zone well. He had great vision. He was confident. He looked like he did 2 years ago. He's finally healthy. And I thought he had a heck of a year.
What type of a jump are you looking for from Logan Hall this year?
Expect him to be more of a steady presence on the defensive line. I thought figuring out the run game defensively and the blocking schemes slowed him down a little bit. I thought he started showing up at the end of the year, probably not in the stat column, but he showed up in the defensive meeting rooms, and he started to make a positive effect on us. So I just look for him to trend upward.
Shea Tierney, how he ended up on your radar for an offensive coordinator interview, and obviously didn't hire him. What was your impression when you went?
Well, I heard a lot of good things about Shea. You know, he's the guy I talked to. Again, I was very impressed with him. I think Dayball has a good one up there, and I think he's going to be a heck of a coordinator and head coach.
Is there a connection there, or how did he end up on your coaches usually interview coaches they know? How did he end up on your radar?
Well, I made it a point not to just interview coaches that I knew, but coaches that I didn't know as well, because you can't be afraid to go outside the box and put your ego aside, and you got to try to hear new things and see who sounds good. And I thought he did a good job.
When you ask about another coach, Bernard Wilson, who worked on with the Jets, he's up on the defensive coordinator. What do you see? What did you see from him when you worked together? How do you think he handled that job?
Denard's sharp. I mean, Denard's sharp. He's been sharp for a long time. He would be a heck of a DC for Philly if they made him that. He knows the game inside out. He knows the front. He knows the back. He's got a variety of schemes that he can run. He's a heady coach. He can think on his feet. I think he's a bright young coach.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Todd.